I'm Amy Christensen, curator of the Independence Heritage Museum. Today I'm going to speak with Clarice Lafreniere. She's a 103-year-old Independence resident and Rosie the Riveter. Rosie the Riveters were women who worked in factories and shipyards during World War II, contributing to the war effort by building vehicles, weapons, and ships. Clarice Lafreniere moved to Oregon in 1940, and just hours after the attack on Pearl Harbor, gave birth to her daughter. When the U.S. entered the war, Clarice joined her husband at Portland's Kaiser Shipyard, where she worked cutting and welding steel for the construction of ships. So what kind of work did you do during the war?
Well, I was a welder and a burner, which means that they brought the steel in and laid it on the ways, and then we cut it to size, and then welded it together to size, they were building parts for the ship. I worked on the ship only one time, but I was enough. We were working on the Liberty ships and doing a very good job. There was five of us in my crew, including the leader, which was a man, of course. And I wore leathers and work boots with the hard toes, and not a very fancy costume.
Right, but all the protective gear. And what kind of training did they give you?
Very little.
Very little.
I went in on the night shift, and the lead man says, here's the machine that we turn on, and here's the lead that goes from it, and then you have the thing that holds the rod. And he says, I'll show you how you do it. And you go like this, you know. And he says, okay, you can do it.
So no schooling.
The first ladies that were hired really had some schooling. But I was one, of course, of the later ones because I didn't want to leave my babies.
Right, right. Can you describe what a typical day in your shift at the shipyards was like?
Well, we arrived at midnight, no, at 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and of course we greeted all our friends and everything, and then we went and dressed with our leathers, and took up to work. I actually started in working. He told us what we needed to do, and so you just went from there.
And you said you worked with 5 other women. What was the relationship between all of you like? And
we had a close relationship. We'd go out to dinners together and lunches, and met with their families, and I had some of them come to my home, and we played cards till 1 or 2 in the morning. Of course, I was the husband and wife, and so we were fairly close that way.
After the war ended and your Rosie experience had ended, what did you do next with your life?
Well, I stayed home with the children until my daughter was in the 4th grade. And then I went to work for Meyer & Frank department store. And then I went from there to Dun & Bradstreet, which is a credit reporting company. And then I went to DMV. And I worked there for 20-some years. Started out on the desk. And of course, the men didn't think women were capable of giving drive tests. So we had one lady that was a pusher, and she said, I'll do it first. So she was our first lady driver's license. And then we started insisting we have pants, not skirts, because definitely you wore skirts no matter where you went. Right. So that changed fast.
How do you feel that the role of women in the workplace changed after World War II?
I think all of them, well, maybe not all of them, but most of them realized that they were something they could do rather than be just a housewife. You find girls now in every walk of life. You work taxi drivers and vice presidents.
That's right.
So we have that.
I heard that last year you were invited to Washington, D.C.
Oh, yes.
and received a Congressional Medal.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about what that experience meant to you?
Well, I'm not good at remembering names, but we were invited in to the White House. And of course, picture taking by the hundreds, it seemed like. And we were introduced to some senators. Mm-hmm. And the ladies, there was two ladies that actually got Rosie started. And they pestered Congress until it was passed, the Rosie Law. So they were speakers. Then we were given a tour of the White House and the grounds. And then we met our senator from Portland, and she invited us to have a more personal tour. So we took her two aides took us all around places, parts of the building that we're not, everybody wasn't offered to see, which was very nice. We could look right out the window at the Washington Monument and one of the spots. So that was a thrill.
So that was Andrea Salinas that gave you the tour. And what was your experience like in receiving the medal, and how did that make you feel?
Actually, it was unbelievable because you don't think you need it. You don't deserve it because we didn't feel like we were winning the war at the time, you know. We were just working. But it was a thrill.
So looking back on your life now that you're 103 years old, what do you hope younger generations will remember about Rosie's?
Well, I hope that they remember that that's the way women actually began offering younger women a way to go in life instead of just housewifing, become what they wanted to become. So it's a thrill to be able to see them do that. When we were in the parade in Hawaii, there was all of this group of electrician girls that belonged to the electrician group. Must have been 30 or more of them. And that was a thrill to see them, and they were all so nice.
Okay, well, Clarice, I want to thank you so much for allowing us to come into your home and for sharing so much of your story with us. It's an honor to meet you.
Well, you're welcome, and it's an honor for me, too.